Welcome back to our Nothing Personal instructional videos of how to play Nothing Personal. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the crew phase, which is probably the main point of the game. After players have placed influence in the commission phase, we're going to go through the crew phase. At first, you will start with position number 9 and go down to position number 1. And look at each gangster. Now note there are 3 gangsters here in the associate positions. Players are allowed to, as they're placing influence, to place influence on them, but these associates will not have anything to do during the crew phase. They are simply there to come on the board once people here die and are put in prison. So the first thing we do is starting with the capo and going down in the position order number, so 9, then 8, then 7, etc. We determine who controls it. So in this instance, the pink player controls Killer Mac Fido. Whoever controls that person is going to get respect and money equal to what it shows on the card. So for example, here we have 3 plus 4, so this person is going to get 7 respect or points, and they're going to get $7. We then go down to the underboss, and no one controls him right now, but if somebody did, let's say the orange player, they would get 2 respect, -1 plus 3, and 4 money. Then in a counselor position, it's multiplied, so 1 times 2 is 2 respect, and then this guy, his money is equal to the number of tokens on the person. So let's say there was 3 tokens on him, this would be $6 that he would get. And you can see sometimes it might be bad for you. Let's say Matt Hosey was in the counselor position. He would actually lose 2 respect for his owner because it's -1 times 2. And you'll go down through each of the people. Now, if there's ever a tie, the person with the capo ring will just break that tie. And again, they can break these ties any way they want. They can threaten, you can threaten them to break the tie in your favor. You can offer money to break the tie in your favor, and so on and so forth. Once everyone has given respect and money, we will then start back down with the third guy and go from the third guy, position 1, all the way back up to the capo. In this time, each gangster is going to get 1 action that they can take. A gangster has multiple actions that they can take. They have a positional action. So here it says steal $3. They can take that action no matter who's in the bean counter, they can take that. Other gangsters will have an action that they can do on them. So for example, Donnie here has an action on the bottom of him that says gain 4 respect, choose another player to gain 2 respect. He can do that action instead of his positional action, or a player can forego taking either of those actions and try to make a move, and then finally a gangster can simply pass on their turn. So let's talk about each of the positional actions. The most important one, or at least the most fun one in my opinion, is the positional action by the third guy here, who can pay $10 to the bank to try to whack another gangster. They can whack any gangster on the board, just remembering though that it costs an additional 10 to try to whack the capo. So let's say they're going to try to whack the counselor. Let's say, for example, here that the pink player controls Ricardo Lanius, and he wants to take out Matt Hosey there at the top. So he pays $10 to the bank. He will then roll the whacking die. If you roll a ring or any of the gun symbols, the whacking is a success. If the whacking is a success, then Matt Hosey would die, and we would put him here in Sleeping with the Fishes. All the influence on him would be returned to his owners. The person who did control him would lose 4 respect, and the person who did the successful whacking, and this player, in this case the pink player, would gain 4 respect. If you roll an X, then you miss, and the pink player would lose 4 respect. And if you roll a dagger, then you miss and lose 4 respect, and the person attempting the whacking, in this case Ricardo Lanius, would be killed. If you forget this on the reference thing that talks about whacking a gangster, to remind you which symbols do what. Now what's important to remember is that any player can pay $10 at any time to the bank and force a re-roll the die. So let's say I'm attacking Sam and I roll and I kill one of his gangsters. He doesn't like that, so he pays 10 to re-roll, and I now re-roll miss. Well, I really want to hit him, so I pay $10 to re-roll, and I still miss. But then Joe wants to see Sam get hurt, so he pays $10 to the bank. He's not even involved, and I finally re-roll and get a hit. And again, I can discard a card to get 8 of those $10 that I need to re-roll the die. So that's what the third guy does. The second guy comes with a token called the Omerta token. It's a silver token, and this game actually comes with 2 of them, and the reason there's 2 of them is because it's possible there's a gangster on the board who can copy someone else's power, which is why there's 2 of them. But he can place this token on anybody, and then when it comes to that person's turn, they don't get an action. That token cancels the action. Incidentally, this is incorrectly written on the board. There's a sticker you can get from GameSleuth that will fix it. It says here, negate respect, money, power. It actually should say negate action. The first guy can remove any 1 influence token from the board. The enforcer, whoever controls the enforcer, can place an influence marker anywhere they want on the board. The racketeer can switch 2 influence markers. That's 1, 2, like that. The bean counter can steal 3 from somebody else. The counselor, well, the counselor is dead, but let's say he wasn't dead. The counselor can add 3 neutral influence to somebody. When there's more neutral influence than anything else, then that player cannot take an action on their turn. And the underboss gets to draw an influence card. The capo does not have an action that they can take. They control the capo token or the ring. However, if one of these people who has an action, let's say Donnie, who could gain 4 respect and give another player 2 respect, if he was in a capo position, he would be able to use the ability on his card. I'm not going to go over all the abilities on the gangster's cards. I think most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but again, you can choose to use those rather than the positional action. Another action that the gangsters can take, instead of taking their positional action or the action on their card, like for example, Sam Healy can use the negate token, or he can attempt to whack someone for $7, you can try to make a move. Making a move, you'll look at the board and there's arrows. They're printed lightly, but you can see them pretty easily when you see the board in person, to show where you might want to go to get a better job. Sam Healy's probably tired of being the second guy, now wants to be a racketeer. This is called making a move. When you make a move, you're going to look at your respect on the card only. So 2 respect and the position that you're going for. This position is a position number 5. See, the higher the position you want, the more difficult making a move is going to be. You will then roll the making a move die. You will add that number to your respect. 6. Is it greater than the number up here? Yes. So then Sammy Hileti is going to take the racketeer job, forcing Lucky to come down to the second guy job. And Sammy, the player who controls Sammy, will get 4 respect, and the person who controls Lucky will lose 4 respect. Again, this die roll can be forced to be re-rolled by someone paying $10 to the bank. If you roll a ring, it doesn't matter what number you need. Even if it's impossible, a ring is always a success. And if you roll a dagger, you fail, and the character making a move is also killed. Making a move is always a risky thing, and it brings some attraction to you. So whenever you make a move, you also place 1 neutral influence on you because you've attracted some attention. Also during this phase, blackmail may come into play. In this instance, Donnie is controlled by the orange player, while the pink player has 1 blackmail token on Donnie. The orange player says, oh, I can gain 4 respect, choose another player to gain 2. They say, I'm going to gain 4, and I'm going to give the black player 2. Pink says, that's not happening. Because while orange controls Donnie, pink controls orange. So it's, unless orange and pink can come to some sort of agreement on the action orange is going to take, orange can take no action. So maybe orange will say, look, okay, I'll take the 4 and I'll give you 2. Pink says, that's fine, but I want $2 beyond that. And you can demand whatever you want. If you cannot come to an agreement, then no action occurs. So orange can try to do this, maybe make a move or something. He can do whatever possible, but he has to get the approval of pink. Now, for some reason, this token's ever removed from the influence marker, the blackmail token, then the blackmail token will go away. And if for another reason, let's say there's been a switch been made, then someone else might have control of blackmail over Donnie. There can only ever be 1 blackmail token on each gangster, but as you can see, they can be very annoying. There are also cards that you can play during this crew phase. For example, this one you can say may play during the crew at any point for $5. So you pay $5 to the bank, and it lets me put 2 influence on a gambler. This one lets me put 2 influence on any gangster when you pay $5. So right before someone's about to take an action or about to receive the respect and influence, you can say, no, you don't control them, I actually control them, and put out the extra influence on the board. Once everyone has taken their actions or passed, back up to the capo, we go on to the next phase.